everyone, it is Pamela Ferguson and I am talking to you about finance today. I am at a certain age now where I have, retirements in the upcoming future, children's college on the upcoming future. So we have two pretty major things that are competing for my money. Two major things, life changes, kids going to college, which I have 3, and retirement for myself and my husband. So a lot of people are like, oh, I'm gonna put all this money in my kids, all these 529 plans, which are great. And I'm like, well, how are you doing for retirement? Well, I really, really want to make sure that they can go to the school that they want to go to, and it's so important. They've got to get this education so they'll be set in their future, which are all good things. However, I think somebody told me sometime in the past, and it always stuck with me, you can't get a student loan for retirement. Ponder that for a second. You cannot get a student loan for retirement. You know what I forgot to say too, is many of us are also dealing with aging parents. So that's really 3 major things. Your own retirement, your parents aging and dealing with, hospitalization or, in-home care, and your children going to school. So many of us are at the age, especially us Gen Xers, are dealing with that right now, all 3 at the same time. So you have to say, okay, which is most important? You cannot get a loan for your retirement. So if we're talking the first 2, we're talking about education or yourself. You must put away for your retirement first. You must. Can't get a loan for your retirement. They can always get student loans. They can take longer to go to school. They can do work programs. They can get scholarships. There's all sorts of things, options that they have, you don't have in retirement. So it's very, very, very important that you focus on your retirement. You can do in conjunction with each other. Maybe you're saying, okay, well, I've got $1,000 to put in. Well, you say, instead of saying 1,000 to my retirement or 1,000 to my child's 529 plan, what about 800 to your retirement, 200 to their 529 plans? What about 800 or 900, 100? What about 750, 250? There's a lot of variations. Now, theoretically, I would say try to really put all of it until you max out into your retirement. But if you are heartstring and you're just like, I can't do it, I've got to do something for my kids, I get it. You can work them, I don't want to say equally, because you shouldn't be equal. Your retirement is more important, bottom line. More in your retirement, a little less in your education. Now, also, if you have an aging parent where you don't know, like maybe they don't have enough Social Security, or if they had an IRA or anything like that, and you are going to have to come forth with a bunch of money, that's another pot that you need to throw it into. Again, the priority being, well, in that scenario, I would say the priority would be, guess what would come bottom? I know it's hard as parents because you never put your kids last, but again, your retirement, your parents aging, you can't really put that off. Again, don't get really student loans for those kinds of things. There are other loans, but they're not student loans. And so I would put those as the higher priorities than the student loans. I know that may be not what you thought I would say, and we are literally in that right now. And I personally, I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to be able to give so much more for my children's college funds, but I also know that in the long run, that's gonna hurt us a lot. So we do contribute some to our kids' 529 plan, but again, it's one of these things, more to the retirement, less to the college fund. And if you really don't have a lot of extra money, you might not be able to put any toward their college savings right now. It doesn't mean ever. And the other thing I would recommend is if you get a raise from year to year or whatever time period, don't adjust anything. Take all that extra money and put it into one of those areas. That can make a big difference for long-term savings. So hopefully that helped, and reach out to me if you have any questions. Thanks.